Tell us about your first world championship. When was it? What year was that?
Oh,
Talk to us about the lead up to that fight, because
oh man,
it
it
doesn't
was
come every often that you can be fighting for a world championship.
yeah, man. Well, man, I can sit here for a long time with that, with my very first world title fight, only because that year, well, I gotta admit, that year was like one of the greatest year of my life.
For sure.
2002,
Hmm.
and um, early that year, uh, I I just realized to myself, you know what, man, I've been going out with this girl for a few years now, and I don't see myself with anybody else but her.
Hmm.
I think she's the one. And I spoke to some people, some friends. I try to talk to my brother, usually Vaughn, because he's the next one under me, and he's kind of still too young,
Yeah.
So I just came up and, I spoke to my brother. He's like, yeah, whatever you think. And so he's not really into it.
Yeah.
It's too young. So I had chat with some of my mates, and they're like, look, man, if you feel it, and I knew I can feel it. So I told myself, okay, this year, how am I gonna do it? How am I gonna propose to this girl, the girl of my dreams?
Yeah.
And oh, I'm a fighter. I should do it in a boxing ring after a fight. And I go, that's it. My very last fight this year, I will propose to her. My very last fight. So that was it. I already knew what I was gonna do. I was gonna be a fighter.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was gonna propose in the
In the
ring.
ring.
So and
Win.
then
Like I want to ask you now. Would that have been win, loss, or draw, or
yeah,
just win?
I told myself that. I knew that was already part of the process. Whatever the outcome is, I told myself already, win, lose, draw, I will propose to Christine just as long as I don't get knocked out. And even if I lose and I get knocked down, as long as I don't get knocked out,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will
Yeah.
propose.
Yeah.
Because a few things in my head like, oh man, if you lose, it's gonna be kind of embarrassing to propose. And I'm like, yeah, I was like talking to myself. I was like, or if I lose, number one, if I lose and get knocked out, people will say, or Christine will say, you only proposed to me because you're not in the right head.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure that, as long as I don't even go down for an eight standing count, I was going to do it.
Yeah.
And I was very determined. So, and that year, I remember it was one of the greatest years of my life, like as a fighter in my career.
Yeah.
Every fight happened to be a title fight, you know, and yeah, it was, and I've won every single fight. I wouldn't lose, and then the last two fight before the world title, I actually lost,
Yeah. Yeah.
But for some reason, um, internally, I felt so um, what do you call it? Internally, I felt so confident, even though I lost the last two.
Yeah.
I was still confident that I was gonna do well.
Yeah.
You know. So, number one, the first one was in the second of I think, well, late October. That was my fight. I was defending my South Pacific title, and man, it was obvious. Like you can watch the fight. It was obvious. I was doing good.
Yeah.
I was definitely winning every round. You know. And then on the third round or on the fourth round, we head clashed. When we head clashed, man, blood just started gushing out. It was right above my eyebrow. So it was a head clash. Usually it means that after three rounds, you're supposed to just go through the decision, But, it is what it is right now. But I felt that back then they did me wrong because the referee says, I didn't see any head clash. That was from a punch. I go, it wasn't. But they asked all judges, and all three judges said, nope, we didn't see it. And there you go. So they declared it as a loss, technical knockout. So I'm like, oh, that was one of first time I lost in ages. So it was a big downer for my career. I was like, oh man, how do I do this? Like I was really angry at myself or at the situation. I felt like they did me wrong. When I got the video back a few days later, rewinding it and playing it, I'm like, there it is. I wanted to contest it, but back then, even now, you contest a fight, 90% or 99% of the time, they're not going to change the decision.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just moved on, but I was just angry. And then out of the blue, um, I just got a phone call a few days later saying, look, man. So usually by the Monday or the Tuesday after the fight, they just came up to me going, we got a phone call from Queensland in North Australia. And they just said, look, there's a fight in 2 weeks' time. Would you like to take it? And the offer was good. The money was good. Everything was good. But back then, that whole year, I did nothing in Sydney except kickboxing. No knees, no elbows.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'll do it anyway. I'm just going to do it because I'm angry and I just want to fight, So when 2 weeks notice, I still got a cut. Went and fight in Queensland and, mate, I got murdered. I got raped. This guy just clenched and held me tight because they knew that I can punch and I can kick. Maybe the first round, I think I did okay and I maybe won the first round. But the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, he just tied me up.
Yeah.
I couldn't do anything, man. And I didn't know how to grapple. And that was only my second fight in Muay Thai. My first one was in Perth the year before. And the guy did the exact same thing. I reckon they spoke to each other going, how did you, The only thing is I just got lucky the fight before in Perth, my first Muay Thai fight, because I was getting beaten up.
Yeah.
But the killer instinct came, so nearly every round. First round, I knocked him down twice. Fourth round, I knocked him down twice, and I knew I could hurt him, even though my whole body was bruised up and battered from the knees and the elbows, and I'm getting lumps in my head, and I wasn't gonna take any losses in. I wasn't gonna go home with a loss. And I knocked him out, So that was it. So I was hoping it'll be the same fairy tale story in Queensland. I'm just gonna go by skills. I didn't do any homework. I couldn't grapple because I got a big cut.
Yeah, yeah.
So I went there and hoping the same thing would happen from that experience, but it was the opposite. I literally got manhandled.
Yeah.
So, and then coming back to the world title. After that, I had 4 weeks to prepare for my world title, and I lost the fight, but inside of me, I was so positive about it. I was like, I can do this. I'm feeling fit. I'm feeling strong.
Yeah.
The cut on my head wasn't touched, so it's gonna heal definitely in 4 weeks' time. So I had 2 weeks. I got cut. I fought in 2 weeks straight away. I still got stitches. It takes like almost a week before they took it out. I was already training, and then when they took the stitches out, I only got like 5 days to go before I go to Queensland and fight. So I still did it, man. And I was just really positive about it. My training, my preparation for that 4 weeks wasn't really the best preparation I've ever had. There was a bit of complication in the gym.
Yeah.
My trainer back then didn't want me to fight, and so he didn't train me for it. But nothing could stop me because it's my last fight of the year, and I had to propose to my girlfriend. So nothing was gonna stop me. I have to do it. I already made a promise. If I don't fight now, when am I gonna do it? Plus, it's a world title fight,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of complications. My opponent back then was a little bit. There was a way in the system where you can fight a professional when you're not a professional, and vice versa. So I was fighting a professional world champion with over. Back then for me, 30 fights was a lot. 30 fights or 40 fights was a lot.
Yeah.
So I was fighting someone who's a professional world champion. This is my first world title fight, and I was stuck in the middle because is it an amateur fight or is it a professional fight? Because, amateur, you got to wear headgear, but there's no headgear.
Yeah.
The rules were a bit stuffed up then, professionals gets paid, but I was kind of like an amateur, but I was getting paid.
Yeah.
So it was mixed. So I go, okay, if he's a professional world champion, why am I not fighting for his world title fight? Why this one? And there was a lot of complications, and then more complications in the gym. I felt like I wasn't being trained. But my determination, I had to fight. 5 o'clock in the morning, I was running already. Wake up, my alarm, put it on 4:45. 5 o'clock, I was already on the road running. The sun was still down by the time I finished my run. I'm already at home.
Yeah.
Do my shadow boxing in the backyard. I had no gym.
That's
so
what I was gonna say. So,
yeah.
because you weren't being trained. How were you doing your training? Where were you?
Just at home. I was just
Okay.
doing whatever I got, you know. And that's
No
another thing.
pads.
No pads, no pad work. No one can hold pads. Nothing. I mean, but you know, you can't sit there and just say, "Oh, but I don't have this, I don't have that." Man, if you really, really want it,
Yeah.
you'll find a way. And
Sure.
I wanted to.
Yeah.
I just wanted to last the whole 8 rounds back then.
Yeah.
You know, or is it 12? I can't remember, man. Kickboxing is different rules.
And how long did it take for you to take him out in that world
Oh,
championship?
I took him out in the third
In
round.
the third round.
Yeah, but it was a lot of preparation mentally
Yeah.
because you know there's a lot of things happening, and yeah, man, I did what I can with what I had. You know, I didn't go out there crying because of one of the preachers told me back in church. You know, one of the times that they said like when David fought Goliath, you know, someone offered him other weapons, and he said, "No, this is what I got. This is what I'm gonna deal with. I got a slingshot. That's how I'm gonna wipe out Goliath."
Yeah.
You know, they didn't go, "Oh, but he's got that and he's got this. I should have some of that." No, he didn't. So with the preacher telling me that, it kind of hit my head like, okay, I'm not gonna sit here and cry like I got no gym to train at in the morning before I go to work. So I thought to myself, you know what? I'm gonna wake up early. I'm gonna go to bed early, and I'm gonna number one, I'm gonna run. Number two, I'm gonna change my run on different days. Sometimes with a vest, with a 10-kilo vest or 20-kilo vest. Sometimes sprint one pole next to it and then jog the other pole. Different ways of jogging, you know. And then come back here, do some leg workouts like walking duck walking, leapfrogs, all of that in the backyard. You know, I had to tie up my dog so it doesn't chase me and bite me and all that. And yeah, I'm just doing my shadow boxing, push-ups, jumping squats. I write my own program. You know, I just write my own program and I stick to it no matter how hard it got. And I made sure it was intense with not much, only 30 seconds rest. So I think it was good practice because it literally disciplined me and conditioned me for what I was up against. You know, and it just made me more determined. So despite of all of those drama that's happening around me, like I felt like nothing could stop me. But you know, preparation wasn't that great. When I am in the gym in the afternoon, there was no pad work, you know, so I try to come in a little bit early so I can hit the bags before the floor gets used up for the classes. So I did all of that. And then 3 or 4 days before the fight, my coach back then just said, "Look, man, it looks like I couldn't stop you. You know, I told you I didn't want you to fight, but you look like you're going to do it." And he goes, "Look, good luck, buddy, but I'm not going to come. I'm not going to be there." And oh, man, you know, this is your coach. This is your mentor. Your mentor, this is your, like, you know, it felt like I can't do it without him, especially in a world title fight.
Of course.
This is when, for me, it just went bang. You know, I felt like I was building up a good momentum. But 3 days before the fight, the Tuesday before I was going to fight on a Friday, he hit me up with that. And
how do you adjust with something like that where you're the person that you look up to and has always been there and he's not going to be there for your corner? How did you adjust to that at that time?
I felt lost.
Yeah.
The first night, on that Tuesday night, I felt lost. But
see, it's crazy that you even remember it was a Tuesday night.
it was it's vivid
very
in my
for sure.
It's vivid in my memories. It's, you know, and I don't know, man. And also what happened after that, like I met up with some friends. Like, "Hey guys, I called one guy and I said, can I just have a chat with you? You know, I just need someone to talk to. And you know, I had my missus as well, my girlfriend back then. I told her, "Can I talk to you?" You know, and she kind of said something that I didn't want to hear. So I didn't want to take it out on her. I didn't want her to see the wrong thing. Because what she told me when I told her was, she goes, "Maybe you should pull out of the fight. Maybe you shouldn't fight. For the past 4 weeks, you weren't training as proper as you used to. You weren't getting any pad works. All you were doing was bags, shadows and bags. That's all you did. There was no pads, you know. But yeah, you're fit, but there's no pads. there's no accuracy, there's no speed, there's no power on the things that you're doing. I go, mate.
No proper training.
You know, so she told me what I didn't want to hear.
Yep.
Plus, I couldn't tell her, like, I'm going to propose to you, man. You know, so I couldn't tell her. So I just said, look, thank you for your feedback. And I'm going to go and talk to the boys, you know, and see what they say. So I called up my friends and we met up. And yeah, we had a talk. What do you think he's doing? Half of them were saying that I should pull out of the fight. It's not, you know, you should pull out of your fight. It's not weak of you pulling out. You got many reasons. You got this, you got that. You got no coach, you got that. You know, but for some reason I just went, you know what, man, this is something I got to do. But I don't know. I was just really determined. And I don't know, when everyone left and I was back at home all by myself, I mean, there's nothing else to do but to pray, you know. Yeah. And I got down on my knees and I just looked up, you know, and I just prayed and God, I don't know what to do. I don't know what decisions I should make, but if you can please answer me and give me the answer whether in my head or in my heart, but as soon as I wake up tomorrow, I hope you tell me. I hope I already know what to do. You know, I'll leave it in your hands. You know, may your will be done. That's it. Not my will, but your will be done. But my will is to fight, but it's up to you, God. Just make sure you tell me. Don't give me these little signs because I'm not good at picking up signs. Tell me in the most obvious way. And I left it as that. But the next day I woke up and I knew I was going to fight. But even then, before I went to bed, I felt like I knew I was going to make the decision to fight. So the moment I woke up, I'm like, first thing to hit the floor was my knees. And I got down and I said, God, you know, thank you that I woke up okay. I had a good night's sleep. And what's the answer? And obviously, as always, there's no answer. But for some reason in my heart, I knew what to do. Went to work that day and already felt like, I'm going to fight. You know, so I was determined to fight. I'm going to fight. But with three days left before the fight, you know, there's nothing else to do. Yep. There's no bag work, pad work. I just did shadow sparring. I went to a mate's house and he called me saying, no, don't come to my house. Let's go over here. There's a gym there. I know a gym here where they got it's a bodybuilding gym. They got the aerobic space there. And maybe we can use it and just, you know, do shadow boxing and I'll probably hold pads for you. And I'm like, all right. But obviously, this guy who's never had a single fight, he's just a good mate of mine. Yeah. He couldn't hold pads. So I just looked, man, I'll just do my own training. Yeah. So I just did shadow boxing. And that's all I did. That's pretty much all I did. And I was determined to take the fight. And Friday night came, you know, I was determined. I was very nervous. And then I remember telling Vaughn, I go, Vaughn, I got a secret to tell you. And he's like, what's that? I go, Vaughn, if you tell anyone, man, I'm gonna punch your head in, man. Don't tell anyone, all right? He goes, what? Just tell me. And I went, this ring, I'm going to propose to Christine. So as soon as the fight finishes, win, lose, or draw, as long as I don't get knocked out, all right? Win, lose, or draw, look for her in the crowd and grab her, all right? And tell her to come in the corner because I'm going to call her out. Just to say thank you. Yeah. All right. And Vaughn's like, oh, okay. And I go, but don't tell her I'm gonna propose. All right. Don't tell her. Don't tell anybody. He's like, I won't tell anyone, man. I promise. I'm like, all right, cool. And then, yeah, the fight came. My focus was all about the fight, you know. And yeah, well, the rest was history.
Rest history.
I knocked him out. Called Christine out. And so, you know, my plans 12 months ago actually came to life. It was just a coincidence, or actually I should say it's not a coincidence, it's more like a divine, I don't know, it's one of those things where all the stars were aligned right and I planned it right. It happened to be live on TV. Yeah. It happened to be a world title fight. And nowadays, you know, like back then, it was the most scariest thing I did because I felt like not training properly for a long time, for 4 weeks for this world title fight, you know. But now I can use that as an encourager to my fighters, you know. For sure. So yeah, man, it was a very good fairy tale story for me, and I proposed and I won the girl, you know. It was the best, you know. It was good. Yeah. And then.